What's up, guys? Welcome to Monday afternoon, 3 up, 3 down. As always, I'm your host. I am back after a week off. I just didn't have the heart to talk baseball after a 4-game sweep in New York. That was depressing. They did take 2 out of 3 from the Astros before that, so woo! Anyway, coming off a 3-3 week, lost 2 out of 3 in Atlanta, won 2 out of 3 at home versus the Brewers. Laid a stinker yesterday on getaway day, just standard fare getaway day performance, honestly. No fight, no spark, much like Luka Doncic. Anyway, we talk baseball here. We don't talk NBA. Let's get into the ups and the downs. Let's start with the downs real quick. Gonna hit these real quick. We got a long form segment up in the ups. Jordan Walker. God, I don't know. I know it's early and like a hot 3-4 game stretch bumps those numbers up like crazy, but he's OPSing 547. The only red categories on his Savant page are his bat speed, which great. His average exit velo is like light red, and then his arm strength and his sprint speed. So it's put up or shut up time for Jordan. That's really all it is. It's, and we're going to get into a little bit in the ups. Like Brendan Donovan and Lars Nootbaar, they put up. That's it. Like, those guys are good ball players. I will not question them anymore. Newt needs to stay healthy for a full season. That's really the only question with him. Donovan's just a good player. But Walker, it's time, man. Like, you're playing every day. You're going to hit now or you're never going to hit. Like, at some point, it's like, hey, man, I don't think there's any such thing as a year 5 bump or a year 4 bump. The other downs, Ryan Fernandez down in Memphis, finally. I think that people are like really upset about what Ollie said after the game. I think he was just going, like, he didn't think they were going to make a move, and clearly I bet he wanted to make a move and just didn't think they were going to, and they did make a move because, like, these are professionals, man. Like, they know, like, they knew. I bet those guys knew. I don't think they knew that Fernandez was going to give up a home run on the second pitch last Wednesday, but, like, they knew it wasn't going to go well. And there is a morale thing here where it's like, hey, you can't just keep going out and sucking. These are professionals. They have to feel like you're invested in the team. So it was not shocking to see him go down. O'Brien comes up. I think he pitched fine this weekend. Jojo Romero is the concern. They really have 2 guys out of the pen that they trust, Helsley and Mayton. And, well, Helsley blew it on what was that, Saturday. That was tough. But Churio's really good, and Helsley's been mostly nails this year still, so I'm not super concerned with that. I also am Helsley on back-to-backs has been interesting this year. I know there's a report now about Helsley that the Phillies and the Diamondbacks are interested. Guys, they're going to trade him. I wish, if they're going to do it, I almost wish they would do it sooner than later, but I think they still sort of think they're contenders, so they're not going to until June or July, which is risky because Helsley has been injury prone in the past for sure. They're very, very careful with his usage, which I think they're doing that this year in part because they want to be able to move him if they're not in contention in June or July. But we'll see what happens with him. I'd be curious how often he goes back-to-back, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 kind of usage. They really haven't needed him a lot. Most of their wins feel like blowouts. So we'll see what they do with him. But yeah, JoJo is the concern. They don't have anybody they trust down there, so they kind of keep throwing him out there, and it just hasn't been good. I mean, I think he's been walking guys at a rate that's, a lot. It feels like his walk rate has been a lot higher. I'm pulling it up right now. I mean, yeah, he's walking 6 guys per 9. That's the highest in his career by far. Actually, it's almost 7 guys per 9. That's triple what he was doing last year. So that's a huge problem. It just feels like there's always guys on base with him. He can't finish guys off. His K rate's down 2 per 9. So it's not good. I don't really think there's a fix, though. I think they're going to kind of make Matz the high leverage lefty out of the pen, which is interesting because they're still saying he's also going to pitch out of the rotation when they need 6. We'll see how that goes. He was fine this weekend. I mean, he has the stuff. It's just like, you guys know, like, it's Big Steve. Ups. As I mentioned before, Brendan Donovan and Lars Nootbaar, those guys are just good ball players. Brendan Donovan, I got to stop questioning it. Like, he's definitely hitting at a level he has not hit at before this year. He leads the league in batting. He's hitting .359. He has the most hits in the league, and I know he hits leadoff a lot, so blah, blah, blah. Actually, he doesn't even hit leadoff a lot. He hits third. So I don't even really know what I'm talking about. The guy just rakes, and he can play all over the field, and Is he a terrible base runner? Yup. Does he make like a dumb decision? I would say every 3 games, whether it be in the bases or on the field. Yeah. But the guy can play. He can just play. Same goes for Lars Nootbaar. With Newt, we always knew he could play. It's just like, dude, can you stay on the field? He's been healthy all year. So if he can play 140 games, like, that's a piece, man. Like, those are 2 guys that it's like, you should lock those guys up or move them and get real pieces back, because they're both at the point in their service time where you're going to get a bigger return than you would if you held on to them until their last year of club control. Anyway, those are kind of the quick nitpicks. This week they've got 4 against Cincinnati in Cincinnati and then 3 at home against the Mets. It's hard to feel good about how they play on the road, but I think they're going to get 3 out of 4 in Cincinnati. I have no reason to believe that. Palante's been terrible on the road specifically, but I think he's going to pitch them to a win tonight. Let's talk my third up, Walt Jocketty. As you guys saw, he passed last week. Very sad. The Cardinals had just recently told him he was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Club Hall of Fame. So that's great to hear. I'm glad he got to know that. This is a guy that from 1996 to 2007, he went 1,055 and 887 with about a 54% winning percentage. From 2000 to 2007, he had a 56% winning percentage. Obviously, that 2007 season was pretty bad, so that tanks it down a little bit. They won 100 games twice, 2 years in a row with teams he built. And this is a list of guys he drafted or acquired that accumulated 40 WAR. Only 40 WAR guys. I mean, there's tons of other good players he acquired that don't even make this list that I'll hit on real quick. But Scott Rowland, Jim Edmonds, Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols, Larry Walker, Jack Clark, Adam Wainwright, Mark McGwire, and J.D. Drew. All 40 WAR players. All guys they either drafted or acquired when Walt Jocketty was running the club. They obviously won a ring. They went to 2 World Series with him at the helm. They made the playoffs. I think they won the division. Yeah, they won the division in 96, 2000, 2002, 2004, 2005. They won the division 6 times. 01, I think they tied, so they technically won it 7. He also acquired, let's not forget, Chris Carpenter with a bum shoulder, Edgar Renteria, who was an all-star shortstop, David Eckstein, who was a World Series MVP. Like, the guy is like, he was unbelievable at his job. And then if you guys remember, when he went to Cincinnati, I just read the Wikipedia to kind of get my timeline right. He was hired as an advisor in January. He got put as the GM just 3 months later in April 2008. And by 2010, that team was winning like 90. They won 91 games in 2010. They won 97 games in 2012. I mean, that team was awesome. They had some guys on that team. I mean, they had Chapman. They obviously had Votto, Bruce, Cueto, Edison Volquez at his peak. Mike Leake was on some of those teams. Like that. That guy was a really good GM, and I hated those Reds teams. I know we all did. Brandon Phillips was obviously another one of those big guys on those Reds teams. So really glad to see that he's going to make the Hall of Fame this year. Tragic that he wasn't obviously able to make it to the event, but really happy for him and his family. That guy was great at his job. His firing, it's interesting to look back on it. I think they were prepared to move on after 2006 because of the environment in the front office. And then they went and won a ring, so they couldn't fire him. I think he adjusted and obviously did really well again in Cincinnati. He was a really smart baseball guy and a really good guy. And it's sad, it's weird. Like, those teams don't feel like they were that long ago. But I mean, the 2005 team, that's 20 years ago. And that team won 100 games. So with that said, rest in peace. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're back. We're back on normal schedule. Hopefully. I have another wedding next weekend, so we'll see. But thank you guys for watching. Yeah, let's go Cards.